The Eagles and the Dolphins did a joint practice with each other. And essentially, a joint practice is supposed to be two teams that are playing each other in the preseason go up against each other and just kind of like scrimmage. Do 1-on-1s, do 7-on-7s, do 11-on-11s. And obviously, recently, the Philadelphia Eagles beat writers have been keeping track of the Eagles winning in the preseason. Like, are you winning in the preseason? Or are you winning in camps? Are you winning in joint practices? Stuff I don't really even care about. So we go down to Miami. We do a joint practice with the Miami Dolphins. And I'm willing to bet it was an Eagles fan that started all this, but there was some like weird rivalry between the Eagles and the Dolphins. There is no rivalry at all. Okay, we don't have to worry about the Miami Dolphins this year because we don't have their draft pick, right? I don't really care about the Miami Dolphins that much. But I think an Eagles fan kind of kicked over a hornet's nest of Dolphins fans, which I didn't know Dolphins fans really existed. I mean, most times at their games, they're like half filled by like the other team's fans. But hey, maybe they're Dolphins fans online. Who knows? But what ended up happening was they did the joint practice, and I think it was Wednesday. There was a clip that emerged of Tyreek Hill, the fastest receiver in the NFL, burning our number one corner, Darius Slay. When I say burning, I mean like they were like neck and neck with each other, but then Slay tripped over Tyreek Hill's feet, and Tyreek Hill came back and caught a touchdown. So people were saying that he was burned by him. Okay. Sure. But I think that most cornerbacks are going to get burnt by Darius Slay. In most cases, those drills are for receivers and cornerbacks. I mean, receivers and quarterbacks, not necessarily for the cornerback. The cornerback is usually going to get burnt on those plays, unless the receiver is not good and the quarterback is not good. Sometimes you get decent-sized results because the receiver knows the route, but the cornerback doesn't know the route, and there are no other defenders on the field. It's just essentially a 1v1. And people were clowning on Darius Slay. And obviously, it's not because of Darius Slay, it's because it's the Eagles. Eagles fans like to talk a lot of trash, and I think specifically they talked a little bit of trash about Trevon Diggs. There was a play where he got burnt by like a number 5 receiver. There was another play where a receiver beat him in man coverage. I think it was Keenan Allen or something like that. And it was really bad coverage. Reading the receiver's eyes the whole time, which you shouldn't do, by the way. And he didn't capitalize off of that. But I don't see Trevon Diggs as being a bad cornerback. I think he's a little bit overrated, just like Darius Slay is a little bit overrated. I don't think these are the two best corners in the league. But when it all came down to it, Slay was getting blasted. Slay kind of injured his leg. I was more worried about his injury than I was worried about him losing on a route to Tyreek Hill. But like, for some reason, Dolphins fans were like, "Oh, we beat you in practice." Bless your heart. And then a few Eagles beat writers like Elliot Shore-Parks was like, "Yeah, the Eagles got demolished by the Dolphins in practice, I think." Which, if we did, and the Dolphins are a good team, great. I mean, I'm not really going to hang my head on that. I mean, it's just like, first of all, it's joint practice. Second of all, maybe the Dolphins are a good team this year. And thirdly, if you lose in practice to a good team, I mean, let's try to get better, you know? I wasn't taking this as like a huge hit, which is why I think like since Dolphins fans were going nuts and like bragging, I think it's because an Eagles fan started it. It had to have been. But then it was kind of funny because A.J. Brown, who is our new receiver who has a bit of a mouth on him, he came out and was like, hey, show the whole thing. Show the whole story. Keep up that same energy. I beat their number one cornerback on a deep route. Show that. And they showed it. The like Hard Rock, whatever social media page showed A.J. Brown catching a pass against Xavier Howard, I think his name is, for a touchdown on 1v1s. And Dolphins fans are like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you show that? They were getting mad at their own stadium social media page on Twitter. And I thought it was hilarious because some of them were like, this is Photoshop. This is wrong. This is fake. That's not really our number one corner. But it was their number one corner. And the funniest thing was that some of them were like, oh, it was a push-off. He pushed off. That's not fair. That would have been OPI. And it's like, if you look at the clip, there's hand checking before the pass is even thrown. And the cornerback reaches out and initiates contact first. So I was just like, dude, you know that probably doesn't get called as OPI. But they're like, oh, it's OPI. And I'm like, these people are getting like a hissy fit because of all of this, like acting like it didn't happen. Dolphins fans are kind of funny because it's like anytime anybody criticizes Tua, they're like, ooh, Tua always gets criticism. No one ever gets criticized as much as him. And I'm like, bro, like, it's okay for criticism to happen. And criticism happens to almost every quarterback in the league. You know what I'm saying? They're like, ooh, you know, if any other quarterback threw short, then people wouldn't talk about that. But Tua does it, and that's all they talk about. And I'm like, dude, just calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Bless your heart. And then you had like legitimately Miami Dolphins fans bragging about winning a practice. You had Miami Dolphins fans bragging about killing us in a preseason game. And I'm like, dude, congratulations for winning a preseason game against backups and number third stringers. You know what I'm saying? What else is there to say? Like, if you really care about winning preseason games, good for you. I don't really care about winning preseason games because my team has done a lot more than just win preseason games. Like, we've been to the playoffs consistently. I'm more about winning playoff games and trying to get championships than winning in the preseason. Again, congratulations. You deserve to win the preseason game. I think your team is better, but will that show during the season? I don't know, because I think that the AFC East is way tougher than the NFC East is. That's just my personal feeling. I don't really get anything out of the preseason. It just kind of sucked to see the players, the backup players on my team, not show that they can play well.